I grew up about a mile and a half northeast of here, raised with purebred Herefords. Dad ran about 100 cows, no off-farm income, raised 5 kids, sent all 5 of us to college. All 5 have advanced degrees. I graduated from College High, University High in 1975. I went to CMS, UCM now. I got a bachelor's degree in biology with a minor in chemistry, went to vet school, graduated from vet school in 1981, practiced elsewhere for 5 years, came back, ran my own practice, and in the meantime started my own cow herd. I had the interest in the Hereford cattle because I was raised with them, and started putting together commercial cows to use as recips because I wanted to do embryo transfer. And I taught myself to do embryo transfer, cattle embryo transfer, and tried to advance the purebred cows from that. I used the commercial cows, which are a Simmental Hereford cross, as recipients for the embryos from the purebred cows. The purebred cows run right with the commercial cows so that they're not babied. We sell about 45 to 50 bulls a year, and the bulls that we sell are raised under commercial conditions so that they don't just melt and fade away like animals that had been fed a high grain ration. Their mothers, their grandmothers, their great-grandmothers were all raised on fescue in west central Missouri, just like any commercial producer would raise cattle. My goal as a veterinarian, I had seen so many purebred operations that fed had a higher nutritional plane than the commercial operations that were selling seed stock to. My goal as a seed stock producer today is to produce animals that will go to work in Missouri conditions, in the conditions we have in west central Missouri. Try to not do, well, we don't do anything that a commercial man wouldn't, because we have the same economic restraints that any commercial man would have. Try to have the cattle gentle enough, try to breed for disposition, and its disposition is learned as well as genetic, and if an animal is wild, why, they go somewhere else. We use, of course, artificial insemination. The purebred breeders today that aren't using artificial insemination are limiting themselves to just the bulls that are standing on their place, with bulls that have semen frozen, that you can buy semen on, or buy an interest in the bull and have unlimited access to their genetics. You can access genetics from all over the world, all over the United States, all over North America, and all over the world. And those people that are not using AI have really limited the gene pool that they have access to. I try to travel and see cattle around the United States and Canada to see what I like, what seems to be working, and then try to bring them here and put them on fescue. Of course, we have the end-of-fight problems in with Kentucky 31 in Missouri. Some of the cattle work well here. Some cattle that look great in other areas don't adapt to the heat and humidity that we have in Missouri and the end-of-fight that we have in the fescue. I also do embryo transfer. We transfer 40 to 60, 70 embryos per year. Do the work ourselves, use these commercial cows as recipients for the embryo transfer. Basically, with embryo transfer, you're taking the cow you feel is your most productive cow, and you're super ovulating that cow so that she produces multiple embryos to the bull of your choice. My grandfather had Hereford cattle starting in 1910 in central Nebraska. My dad moved to Missouri, central Missouri, west central Missouri, here south of Warrensburg in 1966. I'm third generation. We have fourth generation involved. I think probably the one thing that we all have to remember, with all the technology that we have in front of us, you still have to be a cowman. You still have to be a cattleman to raise cattle and to make the cattle better. My grandfather probably was a better cattleman than many of these people today that have an idea that they can just strictly use EPDs and make the matings based on numbers. Of course, EPDs give ratios among animals, and it gets to be a fad as to who has the highest numbers or the best EPDs. Now, EPDs that are generated by a computer based on ancestry are about 15% accurate. There again, they're about 85% inaccurate. So we still have to be able to see what the animal does here. I can buy a bull that was born and raised in Canada that has great EPDs that I think are going to really work for me, but until I use those genetics here in west central Missouri, we have those animals from him standing here in the middle of August with 95 degrees, 75–80% humidity, eating low quality fescue, highly infected with endophyte. We don't know how those animals are going to work. So as a multi-generational rancher or breeder, I think we have to remember that our fathers and our grandfathers were still pretty good cattlemen, and we have a lot of technology available to us, but we really shouldn't look down our nose at them. They did a pretty good job with what was available. I guess the thing that maybe that I'm the most proud of is just being part of the farming community here in west central Missouri. I do the vet work at the sale barn at Windsor on Wednesdays. You know, I can go down there and I can be part of a group that is dedicated to the same things that I'm interested in, and they're good people. You know, I've spent a lot of time sitting in a classroom. I've spent a lot of time around well-educated people, whether they're DVMs, MDs, PhDs, college professors, but I'll guarantee you there are no smarter people than those that are able to run a successful cattle operation or a successful farm operation in today's world. Those people may not have a college degree, but they've got to be pretty darned intelligent, and they can't make very many mistakes and stay alive today.